Okay, so remember the difference between a pyramid and a prism. A prism has two bases. A pyramid has one and comes to a point. Okay, so our formula is going to be slightly different for volume of a pyramid. If you will look at the top, it has your formula there. For a pyramid, the area is volume equals 1/3 big B times H. Big B is the area of the base. That's your capital B is the area of the base. And the H is the height of the that's not supposed to be a prism. That's supposed to be pyramid. Change that word, please. That last word is supposed to be pyramid, not prism. And then right under that, it says the volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared times h. Okay, where r is your radius and h is the height of the not cylinder. I changed. That's what happens when I copy and paste. That's supposed to be cone. Okay. So we have the area formulas again, just in case you need them as we go through these. You will have all of these on for your test. I'll give you a big formula sheet to use. So we're going to start with the first one, pyramid or cone? Pyramid. So the volume formula, again, is going to be 1/3 the area of the base, that's what the capital B is, times the height of the pyramid. And the height of the pyramid goes directly down the middle of that pyramid. So let's talk about the base. It kind of looks like a square, but in a square, all sides are congruent, right? Are all the sides congruent in that bottom? No, so it's going to be a rectangle. So to find the area of the base for a rectangle, it is just your length times your width. What is your length and your width in this rectangle? 11 and 10, and it doesn't really matter which one is which, okay? You can multiply 11 times 10, you can multiply 10 times 11. Either way, the result is going to be how much? 110. Okay, so the area of my base is 110. Does everybody understand where I got that from? Okay. Now we're going to plug this into our formula. It is 1/3. It is times that base area. And then what is the height of my pyramid? What is the length from the vertex to the center of the base that's written in there? 16. So there's one of two ways we can do this in the calculator, and it just depends on what you're more comfortable with. You can first enter the fraction 1/3. Okay, remember how we do fractions. You're going to hit 1, and then you're going to hit your fraction key. That's the ABC button. And then you're going to hit 3 for your denominator. That enters in your fraction 1, ABC 3. And then you can do times 110 times 16. And we're probably going to, oh, that gave me a funky fraction. I got 586 U23. Is that what you got? You didn't get that? This is what I got. In my calculator, what it says in my screen is this. Is that what it says in yours after doing the pushing those buttons? Okay. So I did 1, and then I did my ABC button, and then I did 3, and then I hit times 110, and then times 16. But remember, we don't want to leave our answers like this. So we can just hit our second, our fraction, and our enters again. And this is what I got. I got 1,760 over 3. Now that's one option. However, if we are not comfortable with dealing with the fractions in the calculator, this is what we can do. Is everybody listening? We can multiply 110 times 16. So do this in your calculator. 110 times 16. Multiplying by 1/3 is the same as dividing by 3. Okay? So if you think about it, doesn't that say 1,760 divided by 3 in that fraction that we have? Okay, so it's the same thing. So you can do the whole numbers, 110 times 16, and then you can just divide by 3. And this time, because we have, we're doing the division, we're going to get a decimal. So one other way we could leave our answer is 586 point, I don't know, 67 if we round it. I would take either of those answers. If you're comfortable with the fractions, you can deal with them as fractions in the calculator. If you're not, instead of multiplying by 1/3, you can divide by 3. Okay, whatever you want, whatever you're more comfortable with, fraction or decimal, that is up to you. Okay, everybody ready? Find the area of the base for number 2, please. We're finding the area of the base for number 2. What are the length and the width of my rectangular base? Okay, length and width of my base, what two numbers? 21 and 9, so we're going to multiply 21 times 9. And that gives me 189. So then we can do 1/3 times the 189. And what's the height of that pyramid?
Wait, where you get the 1/3 from? I bet you just do.
That's my formula. Look at your formula at the top of the page. See how it has a 1/3 in it? What's the height? 5. So again, it's up to you on how you are comfortable dealing with this. If you're comfortable dealing with the fractions in your calculator, then you can do that. If not, you can multiply the 189 times the 5 and divide by 3. So if I did it in fraction form, oh, I actually get a whole number either way, right?
Mm-hmm.
What'd y'all get?
315.
315. Now, in number 3, I just want you to look at the picture. We're not going to do this one, but do you notice how that 25, that's on the outside of my pyramid? My height has to go down the middle. So in a picture like this, we would actually have to go through and find the height and then be able to do the formula, but I'm not going to make you do that on the test, so I don't see why we should waste our time doing it in class, right?
Yeah.
But if you see something like that on the EOC in a couple of weeks, just you have to have the height, so you would do the Pythagorean theorem. So let's flip over. What shape is my base in this picture? Triangle. So we first have to use the formula for area of a triangle, and we're going to focus just on this triangle down here at the bottom. Okay, that's my base. There's the height of that triangle. So remember, the formula for area of a triangle is 1/2 the base of that triangle times the height of that triangle. And you notice I'm using a little b here because I'm talking about just the base of the specific triangle, not the area of the base. So look at that triangle that I just drew in red. What is the base of that? Base and height are perpendicular in a triangle. What two segments are perpendicular in that triangle? 12 and? So 7.5 is the height of that triangle. 12 is the base of that triangle. So what I want you to do is do that in your calculator, please. That is going to give me the area of the base here. And then we can find the volume. Again, it is 1/3 the area of the base. This time times the height of the pyramid. I'm saying the wrong thing. We said the area of the base was 45. What is the height of the pyramid here? How tall is that pyramid? 10. And then you can go to your calculator, do your 1/3 times 45 times 10, or you can do 45 times 10 and divide that by 3. Yesterday we did prisms instead of pyramids, so the formula was very similar, just didn't have 1/3 in it. Which good. Volume is 150. Everybody okay with that one? Okay. Number 5 is going to require you to do more work than I'm going to ask you to do. So, again, why waste our time doing it and confusing us if we're not going to have to do it in the homework or on the test, right? Everybody okay so far? All right, what's my shape in number 7? Cone. So the formula for volume of a cone is there on the front page again. It is 1/3 times pi times radius squared times height. The height is of the cone. Again, that goes down the middle. The radius goes from the center of the circle to the edge. Do I know the radius in this picture? What is it? So this 1/3 times pi times my radius squared. And then what's my height? 17. Remember, when you're dealing with things with circles, pi is always going to say, this pi symbol is going to say in our answer. So I need you to just multiply the numbers. Okay, so you're going to do 1/3 times 9 squared times 17. You might want to square 9 first. I'll come over here. 1/3 times pi. What is 9 squared? 81. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and change that first. And then we can go and do our just do the numerical part of it and then stick the pi on the answer. So we're going to do 1/3 times 81 times 17. And then whatever number we get for that, we're going to put pi behind it. What number did we get for that? 459 pi is going to be my volume. Is everybody okay? All right, try 8. First of all, though, figure out your radius because they did not give you the radius here. They gave you the diameter. Your cone is also flipped on its side. So first, write your radius. The radius is how much of my diameter? half. Okay. So go ahead and figure out your radius and then plug it into your formula. Gotta find your radius before you can find the volume. So if my diameter is 5, what would my radius be?
They gotta be 8, right?
No. 2.5. Okay. The radius is half of the diameter. Okay. Then we're going to go 1/3 times pi times my radius squared. And then what's the height of my cone? Yep. So before I do anything, I'm going to go ahead and square my 2.5. And then I can multiply everything. And so you can either get two answers. If you left it in fraction form, it would be 50 pi over 3. Or if you gave a decimal, 16.67 pi.
Let's say you were doing it in the calculators. What would you do? You would do 6.25 times 8 divided by 3.
Yeah. Is everybody okay with that one?
Yeah.
All right. Again, 9 is requiring more work than I'm going to require from you, so we're going to skip that one. Last one we're going to do is 10. What shape is it talking about in 10? A cone, okay? So first of all, we have to pay close attention to that. The formula for volume of a cone looks like that, correct? Okay. What does it tell me about the actual volume of that cone? How much is that volume? 1,309. So what we can do then is we can replace the parts of our formula with what they give us. They tell me the actual volume is 1,309. So that is going to go in the place of V. Okay. It is telling me the height of the cone is 8. And we're going to find the radius. Does everybody understand what I just did? I plugged in everything they gave me. They gave me the volume, they gave me the height, they want me to find the radius. Now, this is the tricky part, is to be able to solve this, I got to solve this for r squared. Okay, let's get rid of our fraction first. Does everybody know how to get rid of a fraction? What's the denominator of that fraction? 3. So what I can do to make that fraction disappear is I can multiply this, whoops, I'm trying to use a different color. I can multiply this entire side by 3, which means if I do it on one side of my equation, I'm going to have to do it on the other side. So I'm going to multiply this side by 3. Okay, so do 1309 times 3. Does everybody get that number? Okay. Now here's the thing. On that right side, when I multiply by 3, the only thing that 3 is going to do is make that fraction cancel out. So basically, oops, this 3 is going to cancel out that 1/3. So it's going to leave me with everything else there. So pi times r squared times 8. Okay. What do I need to do to get r squared by itself? What do I need to get rid of that's next to r squared? Pi and 8. Okay. If they are both, we're going to do that in a minute. Both pi and 8 are being multiplied by my radius. So how do I undo multiplication?
Division.
Divide. So we're going to divide both sides by 8 pi. or pi 8, doesn't really matter which way you do it.
That would be like, would this be like a bonus question on the thing? Something like that?
Something like that, yeah. Okay, so what I need you to do on your calculators, everybody ready? Do your 3927, hit divided by, so this is what we're pushing. We're pushing 3927. Kingsley, do not go to the gym. Divided by, put a parenthesis. I'm telling you what to push in the calculator. You're going to hit your pi symbol. Does everybody see the pi symbol on your calculator? And then times 8, and then close your parenthesis. Okay, so that's exactly what you want to enter into the calculator. 3927 divided by, opening a parenthesis, your pi symbol times 8, and close your parenthesis. And that is going to give us a decimal. Let's round it to 2 decimal places. What'd you get?
156.25.
Does everybody agree with that? Okay. Now, that cancels the 8 and that cancels the pi, which leaves me with just r squared here. Is that my radius? It's my radius squared, right? So how do I undo a square? We take the square root, yep. So what I need you to do in your calculator is now take the square root of 156.25. And the way we do that is you hit second, you hit x squared, and then you punch in the 156.25, and then hit equal. And you guys got 12.5. Okay, so that's what we call working backwards. You may see one like that as a bonus on your test. Is everybody okay? Anybody have any questions? All right, none of the homework problems are going to